All right, guys. Hey, I'm loving that you're loving sewing and that you want to sew. And I also totally understand being so bored that that's what you want to do. So the only thing is if you sew over spring break, I don't know that I can answer your questions right away. So I'm going to try and get a lot of those out of the way with this video. You should be, a lot of you haven't yet done your hot pads. Hot pads are first. It's giving you practice. It's helping you learn your grain lines, giving you a chance to curve and all of that stuff. So do those first. And then we're gonna do our pillow cover. So this is linked on like the first day of the pillow cover. And this was your instructions. Everything you need is in here. This is what I hand you in class. And then every day I would give you a little demo of doing these things. I understand I didn't put those on there. I've been trying to decide whether I wanted to show you demos, but I think honestly, so many things are created on YouTube. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. So I'm gonna link videos of people doing what I'm doing unless I can do it better and show you. But some of you are going so fast on this. So bear with me, I'm trying my best. But I need a break too. So, all right, this right here is what you need to follow. For your layout and cutout, remember, you need to have at least 3 to 4 of your 4-inch pieces and then 1 of your 9x14. So these pieces right here, these are gonna be your front. Sorry, I should take it out of this. These are gonna be your front pieces, and I'll show you an example, and this is gonna be your back piece. So your front, you're gonna alternate with 2 to 3 fabrics. Don't do more than that because it's not worth it. So these are gonna be your front alternating, and then your back is gonna be one of the colors and one of the other colors. Mine's a little different, but you'll still be able to see it. This one's kind of extra in case you screw up, or you can make a cute little, hair tie or something out of it. But first, go in order. So step by step, cut out layout. Then we're gonna follow these steps in order. You have to do all of them. A lot of you have got stuck on the very first one, seam finish, the first 2, and then you're getting not as many points because you're not doing it correctly. So let me help you with that. All right, I'm gonna show you what your finished product will look like. Again, sorry I don't look dressed up today, I'm not. This is your pillow cover. This is inside out, right? So here's the correct side, but notice here, I'll try and hold it so you can see. I have 2 different kinds of fabric. I have my orange and I have my flower, and they alternate. So I have one color, second color, one color, second color, one color. You put it however you want, right? But you have those colors. Now, take a look at all the different seams. I have 4 seams total. Let me try and adjust that a little bit. I have 4 seams total. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you'll notice on your instructions here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 different seam finishes you have to do. That's one of the whole points of this, is to learn seam finishes. So what a seam finish is exactly what it sounds like. It's finishing the seam and making it look nice and making it look professional. So your first one that I have listed there is a serge finish. Can you see that? We talked about serged. Remember, that's what you see on the inside of all your clothes that you buy commercially, right? So there's a serge. Now, if you have access to a serger, you can do the serged. Notice though, that on this serge finish, I have a space between my seam right here and the serge. You never put your serge right up on that seam. You've got to give the allowance here, that seam allowance. All right, so make sure you leave that space. I'm barely cutting any off when I use that serger right here, okay? If you don't have access to a serger, you are going to do a zigzag. Now this is the zigzag. A lot of you didn't understand and you did zigzag on every single one of your seams. Don't do that, right? If you did, don't unpick. Just do the next steps over top of this one, right? So this is an open zigzag. Remember, because our seam is open. This is a closed serge because our seam is closed. Do you remember talking about that? Remember I talked about this, and that's a closed, open, closed, okay? So there's your first one. Again, serged. Second one, zigzag. Third one is called graded. Okay, now grading Sorry, it's hard to do this. Grading is this one right here. Notice that I've just folded it over to one side. But if I pick that up, you'll notice that I've just taken the seam, right? And I cut this one, the lower one, in half. All right, so if I hold these kind of across, you'll see I've cut it about in half of that seam allowance. Remember, that's a 5/8 inch seam. All of them are. Grading means that you have one at a different level than another one. Just like your grades in school, you have A's, B's, C's, D's. They're different levels. Same idea here, all right? This takes away bulk. That's why it's a seam finish. Okay, so there's grading. And your last one, this one's called a clean finish. Let me see if I can show this one really well here. Okay, all right. I don't know, go check in the back in mommy's room. Okay, so right here, right, I have my seam. It is a 5/8 inch seam, although it doesn't look like it. It looks a little smaller. That's because I've taken it and I folded it over to that seam that I had. Right, I folded it over, and then I stitched along the edge. That's a top stitch. That's a 1/4 of an inch from the edge. That means my foot ran along this edge and stitched right there. Right, and I did it to both sides. Right, folded my fabric over and then stitched right along the edge. Right, and then I lay it flat, press it flat, and I sew it into the bottom. Right, that's how I'll do that. So there's your 4 seams. Again, if you did your zigzag on all of them, go back and trim one smaller, leave the other one. Don't take out the zigzag. It's not worth unpicking. And then this one, again, don't unpick. Just fold it over and then do your stitch on top. If you want to unpick because you're OCD and you need to have it perfect, go for it. But I'm not going to dock you points if you don't. Now, I'm going to show you the back too, because some of you are on that, right? And this is going to be your back side. Now, mine's been around a pillow for a while, so it looks like a little misshapen. But notice our back, we have this hem, which is hand sewn, right? You can see by my, if I pull, you can see those threads right there. That's a hand sewn hem, and I'll link how to do that. And then this one, if you'll notice, is machine sewn. Now, if you look, you see that little, I call it a bite, okay? It looks like a little bite mark. If you'll notice on this side, you hardly see it. All you see are these little lines, okay? And they're evenly spaced, okay? That is the hem stitch, and that's the stitch I want to see, the bite mark, okay? And notice it, stitch, stitch, bite, stitch, stitch, bite, okay? And then we'll put our buttons on, and I'll link for that too, right? But this is going to be your pillow cover, all right? Shoot me with some questions if you have any. I'm trying to help you out as best I can.